I had so many ideas before actually making this video, but the best way for me to do it, well, we'll have to start from the beginning.
忍びの時代は終わる。ここまでやるとはな、川木。
お前も7代目と同じところへ送ってやるよ、ボルト。
こうなるしかなかったのか。
そうだ。忍びの時代は終わる。
Boruto Uzumaki, the child born of Hinata and Naruto. Unlike his younger sister Himawari, he doesn't possess the Byakugan. However, he's a prodigy regardless. Being born with two very strong bloodlines gives him, well, an access to a multitude of abilities. His personality seems to be like, well, more like a young Sasuke before the clan massacre. He's smart, strong, courageous, but he's also lazy. His work ethic isn't good, and he seems to always be distracted by his own thoughts and motives. To put it simply, Boruto, well, for the beginning of the series, is a spoiled brat. However, I say this with the information that I've already completed or caught up to the story. You can't really blame him for the way he acts. There's no real discipline in his home. You can say that he should act more noble because his father is the Hokage. But that's just it. The meaning of the Hokage has lost its value to the next generation. They don't understand all the bloodshed, the work, the sleepless nights, all those missions, and the sacrifices it took for Naruto to even become the Hokage. We all know because we get the story in a third-person point of view, but Boruto doesn't. He sees his father as an absent parent who cares only for his work, and this is where a lot of people tend to start disliking Boruto. If anything, I would have thought Naruto or Hinata would have told Boruto of their past, or if anything, it should have been taught in the academy, as that's where I think the school system in this series always fails. History is the most important thing in any village, whether it be a short story from yesterday or a long book that details countless battles from the decade before. The history of a village connects its people to one another and creates a stronger bond that can never be broken. But I digress, going back to Boruto himself. Throughout the story, he's shown to be a formidable opponent. You just have to have him motivated enough for a battle. Time and time again, he shows that he is Naruto's son and a student of Sasuke. By countless times, he's defeated opponents much stronger than him, with the help of some abilities that he's gained. Overall, with me catching up to the latest chapter in the manga, Boruto himself would be a 7 out of 10 character for me. This is one thing, well, that I believe Boruto, the manga at least, is doing pretty well. There's a clear enemy, and whether the heroes like it or not, the enemy is always around them. The Otsutsuki clan is an alien race of parasites who house an immense power. They have a strict method of plant eating to develop even more strength. Kaguya and Ishiki were supposed to follow out this plan on Earth, but somehow the tables turned. Now the shinobi of the great nations face the Otsutsuki and the Kara organization. Kara has a plan to revive Ishiki and use the Ten Tails to create a new fruit on Earth. However, there's a problem with their plan. The main vessel for Ishiki is within the leaf's possession and guarded by the Hokage himself. Constant battles for Kawaki go on throughout the story. I could go over them, but I feel like that would ruin the moment if you ever read it yourself. Not only does Kara have their own Otsutsuki to revive, but Boruto is also the host of another. Momoshiki lies deep within the subconscious of Boruto and takes over the Hokage's son whenever the moment arises. Right now, it seems that Code himself, another member from Kara, well, he's planning something. He's created an army similar to that of the White Zetsu, but thanks to some of the defective members of Kara into the Leaf Village, they'll be able to prepare for this. In the latest chapter though, Kawaki has made his move. but I think I'll leave that out of this video and maybe make it for another. The antagonist of this series so far would get an 8 out of 10 for me. This is definitely one of my favorite parts about Boruto, the Karma Seal. You most likely know what it is if you're watching this video, but I'll simplify it down if you don't. Imagine any fighter, maybe even Mike Tyson, Bruce Lee, or even any MMA fighter. Imagine they condensed all their knowledge and battle experience down into a flash drive. However, this flash drive also contains their soul. And when they upload it to a suitable host, once it's all downloaded, they could take control of the host and live again and gain new experiences. The host, while accessing the karma, can also tap into all the battle knowledge that was gained and use it to their advantage. In short, it grants someone an immense power, similar to the curse mark, just way more powerful. Right now, it seems 3 people currently possess the karma, which does confuse me as each one of them has a different form of it to a degree. Code, who was supposed to be a vessel for Ishiki, but wasn't a suitable host, also has one. However, he didn't die in the process like the others. Instead, he has access to a white karma. And I can't remember if it holds the same power as the regular one, but since a battle between Kawaki and Code has already happened, I assume it's much weaker than the true karma. Speaking of that, what Boruto has is what I would call the true karma. Due to some recent events in the manga, Momoshiki was forced to use the remaining 18% of his data to then heal Boruto from a fatal injury. And finally, we have Kawaki. He lost his karma at first, thanks to Ishiki fully resurrecting in the body of Jigen, but Amado replaced it along with repairing his arm. However, this karma seems to be different. It's more seen as a weapon of power since Kawaki isn't a vessel for Ishiki anymore, even though he still is a suitable host. The way they use the karma is flexible, but since it's bestowed on humans by other creatures, basically gods, it makes sense that it could be flexible throughout the story like this. Overall, the karma as a power system is definitely an 8.5 out of 10 for me, just because it's so refreshing from the usual shinobi ninjutsu, senjutsu, taijutsu, and everything else that we usually had in Naruto. It's sort of a breath of fresh air that complements this new series perfectly. So, if you actually made it to this point in the video, you can click off if you want to. This is just going to be a list of my random thoughts and theories on this series. My first one is about Naruto's second child, Himawari. I think she's going to get an insane power boost during the time skip. And this is just because of Damon being so focused on her. I honestly think it could be something similar to the Nine Tails. And what I mean by this, well, when you look at Naruto the Last, the movie that is, you remember an Otsutsuki named Toneri who was on the moon. He gained access to the Tensegon. I think she could earn a power similar to this, but also stronger. Although, I don't know how it would be accomplished. Another theory I have is regarding that Code could become the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki. Since the Ten-Tails is in his possession, it's not out of character to say that it could happen, and this would bring him very close to the power of the Otsutsuki, without actually being one. And the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki, on top of him having a white karma seal, and his limiters being off, I think it would make for a pretty eventful fight if it were to happen. But since he split up the Ten-Tails, I really don't think it would. Alright, let's see. Here's my last one. Sarada is going to awaken her Mangekyo Sharingan in the next few chapters, or during the time skip. I'm not saying it's possible, but I'm also not saying it's impossible. However, I don't really know what her abilities could be, as I don't think it would be something that has genjutsu tied to it, because it would be ineffective against the Otsutsuki. But going based off what we have now in the series, we already have Ida, as her abilities can see the present and the past events. So I believe Sarada would have the abilities to see the future, because I think it would be a good counter for Ida's abilities. I think that's all I got for right now. If you have your own theories or ideas about the series, I'd love to read them down in the comments. Anyway, this is Zero, and I'll catch you all on the next one.